Just the facts. Um, I always find it humorous when somebody says just the facts, because it often just the facts um, ignores different interpretations or ignores different two separate things being true. How do you balance it? And I'm not denigrating facts. Facts are extremely important. The primary documents, the facts are important. You can't just make things up, or your history book will be in the fiction section. And so we're not saying facts aren't important. Facts are extremely important. They're the foundation of truth, of historical truth. It's what, again, the primary documents and facts are what keep your history book in the nonfiction section. Okay, so if you completely disregard facts, your history is just propaganda or fiction, right? Creative writing. But when I meet people who are so into just the facts, it is it's kind of funny to me because a lot of times this individual kind of ignores the interpretive exercise that history is. One of the reasons students find history so boring is they think it's just memorizing a bunch of facts, and they lose this idea that history is an interpretive exercise. That's what makes history interesting. It's an interpretive exercise where you study the human condition, you study human nature, and you debate different perspectives and interpretations, and you find the truth in that, the reality, the objective reality. And I am the type of historian, I do believe there is objective reality, and I think you should strive for it. Um, you can't be 100% objective because you're a human being, but you should at least put forth the effort. And so that's why you have the facts to help you with that. But so focused on the facts, you got to ask questions like I have here. What facts do you emphasize? That just focusing on the facts doesn't always erase your biases, because you betray your biases in what facts you choose to emphasize, what facts you choose to ignore. Even the language you use betrays your biases. And what facts do you misuse or reinterpret? How do you interpret things, and so it really gets to the heart of that balance between history as an interpretive exercise, history as an art, a creative endeavor, and history as a science, where you're hitting on that. And so, if you're too much into the science crowd, you're going to ignore the hey, in fact, facts don't always completely get rid of biases, not always. Just by what facts you emphasize or ignore betrays kind of what you think, right? And then for this part, I'm going to skip down to facts versus opinion. That's facts versus opinion. A lot of people, a lot of times, people say things like they're facts and their opinions. I had a colleague at a previous job. All the time she said, the fact is, 99% of the time what came out after that phrase was her opinion. The fact is, and it was always her opinion. It wasn't a fact, it was her opinion. And you get it? I mean, and so, facts versus opinion. You got to parse those out. That's why you question the primary documents. When in the primary document is a fact and an opinion. When you hear somebody's interpretation, what are the actual facts and what are the interpretations or the editorializing of the historian and the author, right? And so, just the facts. Facts are important, you want to use them, but you also got to understand the interpretive exercise that history is.